The Flybearer is calling on the international community to intervene to avert what he calls a crisis. And Top Story is always brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready. NDC Flybearer and former President John Mahama has tonight suspended his campaign to personally attend to concerns over the ongoing exhibition of the voters' register. Now, Mr. Mahama was in the Bono region on a 4-day campaign tour, but today he suddenly announced he was cutting short that trip after his party drew his attention to anomalies emerging from the exhibition exercise. He is already calling on the international community to intervene to avert a political crisis and the country degenerating to what he calls chaos. He gave the following specifics about the NDC's concerns.
In any exhibition of a register, there will be few anomalies that are normally easy to correct. But we also know that any time we've done a registration of voters, we have done it in good time so that if there are anomalies, we can correct them. When this government decided, and the Electoral Commission, that they were going to do a new register, we warned them that the time left was so short that if you compiled a register and there were fatal flaws in the register, you will not have enough time to do the correction before the election. And let me say, a voters register is the most important document in any election. If the voters register is not credible or is full of errors, it makes it difficult to have a free, fair, and transparent election. As it is, recently, we saw a video of voters' registration cards being issued. And the video went viral. It turned out that these were EC officers issuing voters' cards. Today, the EC issued a statement and admitted that, yes, these cards were being issued at the EC offices because of some duplications they had found out. The political parties are the main stakeholders in any election. And so while the exhibition of the register is going on, we have our agents at all the polling stations supervising the registration. Now, if there was an issue in compiling the register where the codes of the various equipment were found to be duplicates, and it was necessary to issue voters' cards, why were the political parties not informed? And the point even is, if you issue those new voters' cards at your district office, how will the people whose cards are affected know so that they can come and give back the old card and collect the new cards?
Well, as he observed, the Electoral Commission has indeed issued a statement on that, on the video that made the rounds viral on social media. The EC says treat that as false, but they going to breaking down why the cards were that you saw in that video, if you've seen it, were being distributed. In fact, it was authorized, the Electoral Commission says, by the EC headquarters. We'll get into that shortly. Mr. Mahama today also, in announcing the suspension of his campaign, claims the exhibition exercise has been chaotic with the potential to trigger a crisis. He had some strong words for the Electoral Commission.
There's so much wrong going on. The incompetence of this Electoral Commission is legendary. We have held elections in this country. We have held voters' registrations in this country. But we've never seen a situation where there's so much chaos and disorder in an electoral process. It has the potential to create crisis in our country. And that is why at a point when I spoke, I said that the Electoral Commission should be prepared to take the blame if this country descends into chaos. And they dismissed me. Today we don't know if we're going to have a credible register because we're not confident in the process that is going on. There's too much anarchy and disorder. We're not sure that we can have a credible register with which to have a free, fair, and transparent election. And therefore, because of the seriousness of the reports I'm receiving from my elections directorate, I've decided to curtail my campaign in the Bono region at this point and go back to Accra to ascertain and verify the reports and to make the views of our party known to Ghana and the rest of the world. As things are going, we are not comfortable with the process leading to the election. And we call on the international community to take an interest in what is happening in Ghana. We want electoral observers to come long in advance. International election observers must be deployed long in advance to supervise the electoral process going into the election. We will make a major statement on this matter in due course, very soon. But in the meantime, I'll suspend the campaign in the Bono region. There are several constituencies that we're expecting us today and tomorrow and the day after. I wish to apologize to them. As soon as this matter is addressed in Accra, I'll quickly come back and finish the tour of the Bono region.
I'm joined right now on the telephone line by the Electoral Commission's Director of Electoral Services, that is Dr. Srebo Kweku. Dr. Kweku, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Good evening, my brother.
To get some further clarity about John Mahama's concerns, I'm joined also by his campaign spokesperson, James Ajenim Boateng, who is traveling with the former president, who is currently on his way, I assume, to Accra. James, is that correct? He's on his way to Accra, correct?
Good evening, that is very correct.
If you don't mind clarifying for me the exact nature of the report he's received by his, what he calls his, the electorate of your party that handles election issues. I only heard him mention the video that we've seen on social media in which individuals were seen distributing ID cards. In that particular case, we've seen the Electoral Commission issue a statement. Mr. Mahama acknowledges that statement. Is that the only basis for calling off suspending the campaign?
Thanks for the opportunity to speak on your message. Mr. Mahama has been receiving reports from the Directorate of Elections of our party, the National Democratic Congress. These reports point to credibility issues about the provisional voters register. And you know that at the heart of every election is the issue of credibility. A lot of issues are coming up, and monumental issues, I must say, which raises questions about the credibility, the reliability of the voter register, and the basis of this that Mr. Mahama has suspended his campaign to go to Accra to get further information on the situation. And it's a nationwide report that he's been receiving. So he's going to back to Accra to go and get further and better particulars of the issue. And then, as he did say, the next course of action will be announced in due course.
Okay. On this issue he touched on, though, with the video that was circulating, the EC statement offers some clarification. They say, yes, indeed, voter ID cards were being distributed, as you saw in the video, But they explained that during the just-ended registration exercise, few centers experienced the production of what they call duplicate ID cards, which resulted from registration kits bearing the same codes. It led to the printing of voter ID cards with similar numbers for different persons. The Commission, therefore, is replacing the duplicate cards for the affected persons. Doesn't that address the issue? Hello, James. Okay, we appear to have lost him. If we get him back on the line. If not, we'll try and reconnect. Hello, James. Okay, let's bring in Dr. Sribo Kweku now, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Dr. Kweku, you're still on the line with me?
I'm available.
Great. Okay, kindly then deal with this for me. You are the Director of Electoral Services at the EC. Your statement admits that this problem happened is currently 100 districts have been affected from our count, and you provided a list of the districts. Key question that John Mahama is asking tonight is if indeed you are legitimately replacing duplicate cards, why weren't the political parties informed so they can monitor the process?
Okay. I would say good evening, Evans, and my regards to your listeners. Our understanding is that the political parties have reps at the stage. So what the districts were doing, the replacement cards were printed at the head office, sent through the region to the districts. The districts were to eliminate them and assign them to the various police stations concerned. And automatically, once the political parties are there, when they are being distributed, it will be seen. It's not anything that you can hide. And it is easier for them to monitor in the sense that when they go to any district, they will know the number of people who have been given. Then they can trace it to the voters concerned, so that if it's anything fictitious, they can trace. But if you look at the video, if it's a new registration, but look at the BVR case and the rest will be there. But if you look at it critically, you can see about 10 or more ID cards on the sheet of paper. So you only cut them according to the various cards and you laminate and you give them out. So they can even monitor that.
Okay. Mr. James Ajanimbwate is back on the line with me. We lost him briefly because he's traveling. The line may be breaking. Mr. Ajanimbwate, can you hear me?
That's correct, Ivan.
Okay, good. I was asking earlier, we've just had the EC's Director of Electoral Services explain one more time that the distribution of the cards that we saw in the video is a legitimate process sanctioned by the Electoral Commission at the headquarters because of the challenges that have been encountered in the registration process itself. The statement that John Mahama referenced articulates and addresses that concern. Is John Mahama not satisfied with the explanation you got in the statement?
The Electoral Commission and the processes that it is engaged ahead of the election borders on political parties being kept in the loop and understanding every single step of the process. I believe that is correct. Now, there is this issue that's coming up, but not during the contract.
Well, apologies there with the line to James. Obviously, he's traveling with the former president, NDC flag bearer, to Accra after he suspended his campaign, reason why the line isn't audible. I want to go back to Dr. Sribo Kweku, who was explaining the difficulty that has led to the EC now having to replace duplicate cards, which has been caught on a video circulated widely on social media. Dr. Kweku, back to the original question, though. In the statement that you issued today, it is I see the statement popped up from your officers late last night. It is only in this statement that you provide the details of which districts have been affected, and you in fact entreat the political parties to visit the affected district offices to monitor. But this is after the fact, after you've already started distributing the cards. Doesn't that then fuel suspicion in this high-stakes environment?
Evans, I want to put it on record that this is not the first time that we are replacing cars like that. And whenever it happens, we only get into contact with the people who are affected and we issue them with a card.
But you cannot do that without the party's involvement, can you?
It will be ideal to do that, but it doesn't change anything. If I call you, Evans, there's a mistake with your card, come for a new one and you come out to replace. It also doesn't change anything. It's an issue of trust, but we should learn to appreciate that we are all working for Mother Ghana. But it's also good that if you have any challenge with it, you ask questions and you answer. So I think that we're doing it. People have questions, they have asked for questions, you have answered. They can go to the people to verify whether what we're saying is true or not. So that will be done.
I mean, thankfully, I've just been joined by the NDC's Director of Elections, Elvis Ankra. Ms. Ankra, the EC just explaining to us that it is a simple case of asking for clarity and that you will get the clarity you require. Isn't that something you could have simply, with your relationship with the IPAC and the EC, simply make a call to verify?
Okay, so first of all, you find out from the gentleman whether there was an IPAC
that is Dr. Kweku.
Prior to this exhibition exercise, where the modalities were discussed. There never was. In the past, there will be an IPAC meeting, the modalities will be discussed, and everybody will be clear about what is going on. That's number one. Number two, when you have a situation where they themselves have published almost 100 constituencies, I'm talking about 100 constituencies, where there are different kinds of issues. Double registration, people having the same PIN number. You know what it means for several people to have the same PIN number? You know the implications?
Please,
it's like going to the bank and then the bank gives several people the same bank account number. You have situations where you go to a polling station of over 400 people, only 16 names will appear. You have situations where in some polling stations, it is one person's picture that covers over 80, 90 people. You have all these serious infractions, and then you have a situation where you claim you are printing cards. Why is it that in the first place, ab initio, when the cards were being printed, you insist that political parties should be there and agents should be there? Does he understand what is meant by transparency? So that the process will be open and transparent and everybody will know. Can he vouch for every single staff of the Electoral Commission? Has he forgotten that there's been cases where staff of the Electoral Commission have been found to have engaged in dubious acts? And therefore, if EC officials are found, we will not have been having this conversation if indeed in the name of transparency or openness, you tell us we have a problem, this is what we want to do. So send your agents to the various district offices. This is what we are going to do. So that there will be verification. Would that not be the proper, decent thing to do in the name of transparency? And this blasé attitude, whether it's out of naivety or ignorance or incompetence, is very, very annoying and disrespectful. They are not doing us a favor. They should hear it. They are not doing us a favor. They are paid by Ghanaians. They were given almost 1 billion Ghana cedis, and the least we expect from them is some level of respect and to act competently. When you have behaved incompetently and you have been found out, don't insult our intelligence, but speak unanswered gibberish. Please.
I mean, Mr. Frianka, let me ask you though. I mean, this is an exhibition process, and the whole purpose of the exhibition is to identify problems and fix them. And so, what's the issue really?
The issue is that this is not the first time we have had an exhibition in this country. So we know that with exhibitions there are minor problems. What we're saying is that this is the first time that they themselves claim that they're going to bring a register which is best of registers in the whole world, and they were given almost 1 billion cedis. And what we are seeing now is frightening, where in a Shiaman constituency, for example, you have over 21,000 names that were removed the first day, and then the second day they brought a second register, and you still have 7,000 names missing. Where in various constituencies across the country, all over the country, copious examples. Look, we will send you the soft copy and just publish it on your website for Ghanaians to see. Example upon example, polling station upon polling station, region by region, tens of thousands running into hundreds of thousands of names mixed up. It's never happened before. We've been involved in this process for a long time. This is unprecedented. Okay? You have been in this country. Have you ever had any such situation before? So they shouldn't paper down the issues. These are very, very serious, grievous issues. And that is why we need to have a stakeholders meeting. They should tell us the truth. They should own up. Let's know exactly what is happening so that together we'll be able to find a solution.
I mean, Dr. Kweku, per your own publication today in your press release, you admit that the problem with the duplicate ID cards, it's in as many as 100 districts. I mean, that is pretty significant, is it not? That means for 100 districts to be affected in 13 regions, this is very widespread.
Even first, let us understand that even without the ID card, a voter can vote. So let us establish that. Or even when you misplace the ID card, you go there, your picture and the particular will scan, you can vote without the ID card. So it is not so fatal that without the ID card you can't vote. That's the first thing that I want to establish. Then the second point is that the voter ID card had some duplication. We have identified them and we are rectifying them. We know that registration, if you critically, exhibition is part of voter registration. They are not in isolation. You cannot talk of a final register without exhibition. So there are all the processes which they are also monitoring. So what I would say is that if there were to be perfect registration, there won't be any exhibition. So problems are supposed to crop up during registration and they are to be rectified during exhibition. I just want to say that by the time that we'll finish the exhibition and we'll get the final register, all these challenges will have been rectified. Let's cast our mind back to the 2019 exhibition in Elembele. There were a lot of names which were missing. They called our attention to it and we rectified them. So whenever there's any problem, they should just let us know that these are the challenges. Some of them, our officers themselves have seen. So whenever they bring them, we rectify them. They want to identify, we rectify them.
Yeah, but if I may draw attention to something, it took a viral video for the Electoral Commission to issue a statement offering clarity and pointing to districts that have been affected. I mean, isn't that a problem?
No, but we don't even say that. We saw it as a normal thing that some cards have been duplicated and we are replacing them. So the people on the field will see that these are the cards that we are bringing. So it was a normal thing. This is not the first time.
But what about Mr. Friancre's concern that at least the EC should be calling an IPAC meeting to explain because of the atmosphere of suspicion that this is generated?
Well, they can also request for an IPAC meeting. If there's certain thing that you don't understand, you can also request for an IPAC meeting and we'll meet. It will always be the commission that should call for IPAC meetings. There are issues that you think that there's a need for you to discuss. You also write that commission should call an IPAC meeting. The commission will call it and we'll discuss.
Mr. Friancre,
the only assurance I want to say is that the challenges are there. We appreciate them, but they are part of the exhibition. That's why we do exhibition and we rectify all the errors and those things. By the time we finish the final result, we'll have a credible one. In the interest of transparency, what other challenges have you identified on this scale? Because this is 100 districts, it's on a pretty significant scale that you are yet to inform the parties on, just so that people are transparent about this. So the normal challenges that we know that there will be some wrongly spread names, there will be some missing names to be traced and rectified. So probably, these are, like I said, these are normal challenges with registration. I mean, you said normal, but when 100 districts are involved, isn't that pretty significant? Isn't that pretty widespread? The ID card is important. It facilitates the registration, but you can vote without the ID card. Does the Electoral Commission know how many prospective voters have been affected by this particular problem in 100 districts? Yeah, I think we have, but I don't have the figures with me. Okay. But we have because of this, we have asked the district officers to invite the political parties at the district level and explain to them, giving details about each of the polling stations that are affected. Mr. Friancre, would you be requesting an IPAC meeting as you can also request?
You see, we have a problem. I mean, you just asked a question that I written that I was going to ask. This crisis started bubbling a couple of days ago. You are asking the Director of Electoral Services what is the number across the board of the 100 districts that they have identified that there are numerous problems. What is the total number? He doesn't know. How should we take these people serious? Again, he's talking about the exhibition is part of the process. Yes, indeed. Don't we do deduplication and adjudication before we do exhibition? The committee that was set up to do the deduplication and adjudication, they met once. My deputy they met twice. My deputy is the representative. They have not met again to complete the deduplication, not to finish deduplication and adjudication, so that you put you exhibit the register, and then if people have issues, they can deal with it. You have not done deduplication. But when we finished our press conference yesterday, then they came out and said, now tomorrow, Thursday, they are going to have a deduplication exercise. Does it make sense? There is a total mess. Look, as I speak to you now, Krowa constituency alone, Krowa constituency, we have 2,487 duplicate IDs. It's just 8 police stations. It's chaotic. And you see the whole attitude, very blasé, very uncaring. This is normal. What is normal about this? We've had several registration exercises. There's never been any such situation where over 100 districts, where in one constituency alone you have over 21,000, currently 7,000 names missing. You are not communicating. You've not printed out the number of people. People do not know. So if people do not go and check, how would they know? And on election day, when those people go to the polling station and they don't find their name, do you think there will be peace in this country? And this guy is standing there saying it's normal, very normal. Is he okay?
I mean, a bit of decorum there. I appreciate that.
It is this decorum that is leading us into disaster. Please, sometimes we must speak truth to people who are in position of authority.
Yeah, I mean, with
a very sensitive position.
I mean, I get you. I mean, please calm down. I mean, just use respectful language on radio. I mean, I'm sure there are kids also driving home with their parents when you say somebody's not normal. It doesn't really, speak well.
I didn't say. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
because when there's danger coming, there's a crisis coming. In any case, let's contextualize these issues, okay? Since you all pretend that everything is fine, not you, but some people, okay? What has been the cause of unrest in other countries? When it comes to elections, has it not been about register? The sanctity of every election is dependent on the sanctity of the register. So if you have a situation where we have 78 days to an election and you have 100 districts where there are problems, you haven't outlined a proper communication center. In fact, he says, if we like, we can ask for a meeting. Really?
Will you ask for the meeting, by the way?
And you're saying it's normal?
Oh, I mean, just for clarity, would you ask for the meeting? At least you said
we'll meet tomorrow. I won't have a meaningful conversation with this one.
Okay, I'm grateful. Mr. Sirbo, Dr. Sirbo Kwaku, I know you say they should ask for a meeting. They can also. But in the interest of transparency, you are shepherding this entire process. Transparency, building trust. Isn't it better for you to extend that hand and solve this problem once and for all?
I said we have asked the district offices where
to do it at a district level.
Yes, so that's where the cards are. They will meet the political parties and give them the breakdown to the various polling stations, and they will show them the cards.
Dr. Sirbo Kwaku, I'm grateful. Elvis Ifriankra, head of the Director of Elections with the NDC, thank you very much. Isn't it amazing when your network cares about you so much so that they do amazing things for you? You guessed it. I'm talking about the Vodafone cash dropping all charges when you send money to all networks. Yes, you heard it right. It costs nothing, absolutely nothing, when you send money via Vodafone cash to all networks. Just send any amount as many times as you want to any network and pay zero charges on the money sent. So go ahead, make payments, show your love, make contributions, send money all you want via Vodafone cash to all networks for free. Dial *110# to send cash for free. Question is, are you ready? Newsnight.